These words ring true still to this day. We are the land of the free because of the brave. In 1773, when tyranny taxed us beyond toleration, Bravery dumped 342 chests of tea into Boston Harbor. In 1775, when hostile forces forced themselves upon us, Bravery met them in the fields of resistance and resolve. By the bridge that arched the flood, wrote Emerson of that day, their flag unfurled to April's breeze. Here once the embattled farmer stood and fired the shot heard round the world. In Bravery's young days, Thomas Paine declared, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and sunshine patriot will in this crisis shrink from the service of his country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered." But conquered it was. Even as George Washington, in winter's bitter hold, crossed the Delaware, not once but twice, the second time not to escape but to engage, and to forever embed in the soil and soul of America victory that comes through bravery. Bravery was buried with full military honor in the person of Harriet Tubman, a self-taught, escaped slave who led 300 others to freedom, who served the Union Army as cook and nurse, and at the risk of her own life, as spy and guide. Bravery, years later, in the person of Rosa Parks, tired at the end of a day's work, tired of the illegality of segregation, boarded a bus in Birmingham, Alabama. Not long after, Bravery would march upon Washington and declare, "I have a dream that one day in Alabama, black boys and black girls will join hands with white boys and white girls as brothers and sisters." Bravery took one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. We are and continue to be America the Beautiful. We are no stranger to adversity and betrayal. We have been crossed and double-crossed, enslaved and forced upon, hated and insulted, maligned and murdered, offended and overlooked, politicized and criticized, schemed against, struck upon, and sunk. But we have risen, and we will continue to rise. We have been knocked down, but not knocked out. You may tear down our towers, but we will continue to tear down walls of oppression. You may spill our blood, but we will continue to shed our blood in the cause of democracy and inalienable rights. Woodrow Wilson said it this way: "We have no selfish ends to serve. We desire no conquest, no dominion. We are but one of the champions of the rights of mankind. We shall be satisfied when those rights have been made as safe as the faith and freedom of the nations can make them." No other nation in such a short span of time has changed the landscape of the earth as champion for the people. Our beauty has given to the world radio and record player, telegraph, telephone and television, computer and internet, rocket science, space travel, satellite, and basketball. Our beauty has wiped polio off the face of the planet. Our beauty has given to the world bone marrow transplants, heart surgery, brain surgery, robotic surgery. Our beauty has given to the world. Alexander Graham Bell in communication, Thomas Edison and electricity, Susan B. Anthony and equality, John F. Kennedy and possibility, Henry Ford and the drive to prosperity, the Wright brothers and flight to destiny. Our beauty lifts her lamp beside the golden door. To our leaders we declare, you are not leading a people who are weak and lazy, selfish and stupid, no matter what caricature or survey may say. Our history rings true still to this day. We carry the birthright of the immovable, the inexhaustible, and the innovative. We willingly bear the burden of the alienated and abandoned, the battle-worn and beaten, the confused and conflicted, the downhearted and dispirited. We continually advance the tireless cause of faith and freedom, the unending legacy of family and friendship, the triumphant heritage of independence and community. May all nations be our friend, but if any nation bring the fight, we will answer the bell, and by round's end we will be the one left standing. We are not afraid. Leaders, you know, if we are threatened, youngest to oldest will rise up and stand upon the consecrated ground of the courageous and the committed. We are a nation of the unflinching. But we are tired of your political bickering and party bashing. We embrace multiple political parties, but not a divided house. Even we know such a house cannot stand. If you don't know the answers, stop hiding your ignorance behind the facade of insult and criticism. What we ask is that you tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. Argue your differences, and then let us cast our vote. But if you continue in this insidious rhetoric, which in the least is disillusioning to a coming generation, and more, an abandonment of the bravery and beauty that shaped our country, then the only vote we will cast is the vote that gets you out. Do your job and set your people free. Because listen up, world, together with you, over the last 50 years, life expectancy in developing nations has increased from 46 years to 66 years. Together with you, in the last 40 years, the child mortality rate of 5 years and under, and the preventable deaths of children has been cut in half. Over the last 40 years, together with you, people classified as hungry has decreased from 33% to 18%. Together with you, over the last 30 years, people in developing nations with access to clean water has increased from 35% to 80%. These are the battles we want to fight. Still today, 1 in 4 children in developing nations is underweight. 400 million children are hungry. 25,000 people today and every day will die of hunger-related causes. This is the battle we want to fight. HIV infects 33 million people. 6,800 people a day infected. 5,700 people die. It's 2.5 million new infections per year, 2 million deaths. This is the battle we want to fight. And fight we will. Let the cowardly mock our faith. Let the cowardly mock our goodness. Let the cowardly mock our government. But in response, we will continue to wash over the globe the generosity of freedom and the inherent right to life God intended for every man and every woman. Bravery, voiced through Abraham Lincoln. Words that ring true still to this day. Our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we're engaged in a great war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. The brave men, both living and dead, who have consecrated this ground, far beyond our poor power to add or detract. It is for us, the living, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work they so nobly advanced. We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, and that this nation, under God, shall have birth of a new freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.